Hey there, boys and girls. I'm back, and today we're going to talk more about red dots. I put up a video a little while ago saying effectively, we're at the point, it should be our expectation, you mount a red dot, and it's going to work. Like you can, shoot the gun like quite a long time, and you shouldn't be grenading dots left and right. That shouldn't be happening for most use cases. Now, for competitive shooters that shoot all the time, guys that are shooting every day at work, if they have a job like that, it's going to be a little different experience, obviously. But most people don't shoot that much. I mean, 1,000 rounds a year, as far as your average gun owner, to me sounds high. That sounds like a lot of ammo. So anyway, let's get into the comments, see what people had to say about it. This comment from Sinstro Rifleman. The same service life as the pistol it's mounted to seems reasonable. And you know what? In my experience shooting red dot guns heavily, that's basically been my experience where I think I've had one SRO fail ever. One red dot fail was an SRO. Next comment. 100% agree. At the end of the day, optics are finite devices and aren't an exception to the fact that everything is a failure rate. But with the quality that companies have been able to put forth, a high quality red dot may even outlast the shooter, depending. No, good. We can pull out Glock 34 here. Now, on top of this is I call it the Walmart SRO, which I think is fun, but I'm not sure that everybody likes it. This is the CH Precision red dot that they have. Mine's occluded, as you can see. This has been riding on this gun for quite a while. I think 25, 30, 35,000 rounds, quite a lot. This will frequently be a loaner gun in classes. If somebody needs a Glock, I'll say, hey, shoot this one. This is, I think what a lot of people would consider an off-brand or like a budget type of choice, something like that. They sent it to me to check it out. I think I've re-zeroed the gun once, ever. This budget-ish red dot has been working. In the on-brand stuff, I assume would be maybe even better. But this has been the experience now. When I get new red dots, put them on the guns, shoot the guns all day long, they're just typically not breaking. I totally agree, one guy says. It's fairly simple electronics after all. G-Shocks don't break, and they're much more complicated these days. Okay, fair enough. Ben, nice outlet covers. This guy says, oh, thank you. Lovely. I like to have outlet covers. This little in-joke for those who know. Next comment. This sounds correct. The vast majority of shooters are not going to shoot their dot to death. Even a lot of competition shooters or just guys who shoot a lot are probably getting the next new thing before the life of their dot ends. Yes, I think so. The life cycle failure rate of dots is pretty long nowadays, enough that I think no one needs to worry about it, assuming it's a quality dot from a reputable company. Funnily enough, a local police chief I had the chance to speak to said he doesn't trust red dots because they fail too often. When I asked him what he meant by failing, because I've only seen a couple actually fail out of hundreds, he said, well, that tells me you're not law enforcement, have no experience because officers constantly step up to the line and the dots don't work because the batteries are dead. So I guess they're not allowing them to drive cars anymore because they also run out of gas. I guess, okay. Yeah, I think that police chief, I would characterize that as old information. I think it used to be the case that I wouldn't trust a slide ride red dot on a gun. Like if I was trusting my life to the gun, I would not want that on it. But that was a while ago. Time marches on. The red dots have gotten better. They're getting put out and tested by people and shot heavily. So I just think that's kind of an old sort of situation. If you buy a red dot expecting to need to replace it after firing X number of rounds while the pistol is still going strong, you should have bought a different red dot. Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's go to the next comment. I have a couple of SROs, RMR T2s, a Delta Point Pro, the EOTech EFLX being delivered today. None of the Trigicons or the Delta Point Pro have given me any issues. We'll see about the EFLEX. I do not intentionally slam my stuff on concrete, he says. I do that occasionally. Try not to, but it does happen. Next comment. I don't have a problem with the dots themselves. It's keeping them on the slide. Yes. So the screws, the mounting screws, whether you're using a plate, direct mount, whatever, that is another failure point that occasionally you'll see issues with. I see the screws fail maybe twice as often as you see the sights themselves fail. I think from what I observed, that's about right. Shit, in class today, we had one guy, all his shit came off. The optic, I think the optic came off the plate and the plate stayed on the gun, I think. That's like, it's gotten to the point where that is unusual to see that in a class. Like, I would say 5-6 years ago, 50% of the class would be irons and 50% red dots. And it would normally, a red dot would fail over the course of, 1,000 rounds a guy for like 2 days. That would be I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's pretty normal. And now virtually everybody has a red dot if they're showing up to classes. And I would say typically I'm not going to see a failure. That's just what I've been seeing. So an interesting discussion. I think the way to put it is like, I would just say time has marched on. They have gotten better, the red dots, it's like I said, I think it's just people living in the past and quite honestly, not really training a whole lot. I've seen a lot of stuff from like older guys. I posted a Paul Howe video to Instagram, I don't know, last week sometime where he's talking about red dots and I don't have a problem with red dots like a lot of people that I've seen on the internet, the discussion is, should I get a red dot? Should I not get a red dot? And that's to me, that's a little goofy because if you're out at ranges actually training with people that are out there actually shooting, it's not a discussion. People just all have red dots, if that makes sense. I mean, just pretty much they all have red dots. So it's not much of a conversation. And that makes sense in my head. If people are actively putting time and money into training, getting a red dot is not that heavy of a lift. And when they go to the range, they say, everybody has this, then they're going to get one too. Let's go with the next comment. Good info and thanks. I don't think you're wrong given the pricing and offerings available, plus the advances in tech. Dots should be fairly long-term usable now. I shot nowhere near you or big time comp guys, of course, but hopefully you're right. They mostly work. Yeah. I do have a few budget ones, and if they have issues, I'm not sure I can whine, but Holosun, Trijicon, and the Vortex XL will be expected to last better or be properly supported by the company if issues occur. Yes, that's typically what you see. I mean, Trijicon replaced the one SRO I had fail. Next one. One of my SROs is at the Trijicon shop right now being looked at to replace. I have 2 SROs and they both died after about 5 years. Trijicon replaced the first one I sent to them after almost 2 months of being at the Trijicon shop for inspection. My buddy also had an SRO and had the same experience, less than 5 years of use for him and about 2 months at the shop for eventual replacement. Might be an incredible coincidence, but the only 3 SROs I've had personal experience with all died around 5 years. Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's a you thing, I think. I'd be interested to see which pistols of the same caliber and same mounting damages more red dot sights. Hydraulic buffers, magnetic buffers, different spring systems, and so on. Okay, well, I'll just say this. Heavier calibers, or if you're shooting like plus P duty ammo, something like that, you're going to see more issues. It's kind of like if I shoot an open gun, which is like shooting 38 super, I don't know what the fuck the velocity would be depending on the bullet weight, but like, I don't know, double the powder charge of a 9mm, where it's like, that's going to break more stuff. And it's not just going to break more dots, it breaks more everything. It's difficult for me to quantify that. I could give you one example from a class. I had a guy shooting plus P Hornady critical duty in a course. I mean, he got it at work, so he's shooting that. And he was shooting a shadow, but his both his screws sheared and the sight flew off the gun. And I think he had 3,000-ish rounds on that setup. I even shot, just to play around, I shot some of his ammo through the XC, my XC that I had with me. And it felt hot enough. Like, it felt noticeably hot, and even in the XC. And I was just like, I'm not sure I'd expect great things shooting 10,000 rounds of that through the XC with that ammo, because it's hotter. I would just expect more stuff is going to break. That's just the way it goes. However, that having been said, most dudes just shoot 9 now. 40 is just kind of gone. Ben, I want to know what arcade machines are in the background. I have a Time Crisis cabinet T2 and an X-Men cabinet, the side scroller beat 'em up X-Men. That's what I have at that house. There's other games on the cabs, but just that's what's on the art. I saw a couple of videos come out less than a year ago showing immense dissatisfaction over the reliability of the Acro P2 and the Holosun EPS. Namely, they were breaking under normal use. I haven't heard of this happening to the RCR at all. Okay, that's cool. I don't see a lot of Acros. It's sometimes, but it's usually the big time nerds have those. Not that I really care. Next one, 100K or better would make my wallet happier. I haven't had an issue with the Trijicon SRO. I have 3 or 2nd gen RMR or Holosun. All have been solid. I hope Vortex has it together in the new optic. Not to shill for Vortex, but I believe the optic is at least going to be reliable. That's what I do believe that. I know a lot of dudes don't like the footprint, or they don't like other things about it. They don't like the price, whatever. I get it. Based on what I've seen, I think it'll run at least. And I do like how bright it gets. That's very nice. So long as dots are being used as designed, one could argue using the dot to rack the next round as part of the design. So long as it has been torqued to spec, the materials for the screws are to spec, I think 56K rounds is very reasonable. I think the average round count for all shooters is 12,000 rounds annually. I think there are those in the 30K range and more in the 1K or less. But the competitive shooters are around 8 to 12K range. That's 4 years of usage the company is testing for. I think that's pretty fair. I'm just going to tell you, dude, I don't think normal people shoot anywhere near that much. You're like the average gun owner. It's just a gun owner. They're not really a shooter. I'm not criticizing them. I'm just saying, like, we're not doing the same thing. Like, I'm out shooting all the time, and most people just have a gun. At this point, I guess the shot impulse isn't an issue anymore besides extreme environmental outliers. They should withstand everything their test handguns deal with, 80K plus the abuse. Red dot sights with onboard round counter would be cool. I wonder if cam stabilization will find its way into red dot sights. I have a couple of red dots that are well over 100,000 rounds. And like I said, they've been keeping going. All right, we'll take just one more comment. Just like in either product, things will break for sure, but you engineer some parts in the product that will never be the first thing to fail. For example, the hinges on the door of the dishwasher should not break with normal use before the engine of the dishwasher failing. For me, the pistol product is a whole system: light, optics, sights, barrel, springs. I think for a pistol, you should be able to wear out the weakest part in the pistol before the red dot fails. If pistols should go 100,000 rounds with just normal wear and tear maintenance and spring replacement, then the red dot, in my mind, should last that long. So I only think about replacing it when I choose to get a new pistol. Okay. Fair enough. Whatever. That's what you want. I don't think that's a crazy expectation anymore. 5 years ago, that would sound crazy. And it doesn't sound that crazy now. I shoot 8 to 12,000 rounds a year between 1 training pistol and 2 carry ones. He's shooting staccato C2s. So my training pistol should last me 10 years at least. And my carry pistols with 2 to 3,000 rounds on them a year should last until I die. Okay, yeah. I don't think I can expect the red dot to last more than 10 to 12 years, but I also think my carry pistol will become training pistol when I retire my training pistol. Yeah, okay. There you go. Fair enough. Fair enough, people. All right. So that's it. If you get a red, it is fair now to expect the red dot to basically work indefinitely. That's where it's at. If you disagree, that's cool, but that's just my opinion.